Okay. I think that now my audio is working. Sorry about that. So I wanted to talk with you about the recipe demonstration part of your show. So what is ideal is for you to look like you're having fun. We want you to be happy and look like this is something easy to do because if it looks hard, people aren't going to want to do it, whether it means joining your team or recreating the recipe at home or any of that. So make sure that you're having fun. We want you to be sharing lots of tips that you can share with your guests and your hosts so that they are excited that they came and learned some new things from you. And we also want to sell some products because at the end of the day, that is how you are earning an income. So that's really important. So a lot of what the success of the recipe demonstration at your party has to do with what you do ahead of time. This is a really big deal. So you're going to want to think through a couple of things to make sure that you're set up to be successful in your demonstration. So at most, you should choose two recipes. If you're new, I recommend one. If you feel really confident, if you're feeling good, you can do two. Just make sure the second one is super easy. We want really, really easy recipes, whether you're new or a seasoned consultant. We want two recipes for your party. There is no shame in doing one of those recipes ahead of time so that it's already done. So again, we want to make sure that you're having fun and this is looking easy because if those two things aren't true, you're going to really struggle to have a successful party. So one thing that I always love recommending is considering a theme for your recipes. This really makes it fun for your host to market. So in your host coaching section, it's a lot easier for her to invite her friends to like a Mexican in minutes party than just like a Pampered Chef class, right? So themes are really great and they help you really narrow down your recipes. And here's the thing, pick the recipe first and then the theme. So like for instance, if you know you're making fajitas at the party, then you would turn it into a Mexican in minutes party. Or if you know that you want to try the easy no stir risotto recipe, you might turn it into an easy Italian theme. So just kind of consider the recipes first before the theme, and you can turn one recipe into multiple themes. So just get creative, and your host will love that. And there are lots of suggestions available to you for that. So the demonstration should take you 30 minutes or less within the demonstration. So consider that you'll be chatting, you'll be transitioning, you'll be answering questions and explaining products. So you don't want this to run super long. So just make sure that the recipes are really suitable for this process. They should coordinate well together as well. So consider, if you have two recipes and both of them need to be in the microwave for 30 minutes, you're going to be in trouble. But if one of them can go in the microwave and one of them can go in the oven or on the stovetop or in the pressure cooker, that would be better, right? So just make sure that those recipes aren't going to butt heads with each other and cause you problems during your demonstration. Use power tools. These are the products your guests want to see in action. They don't want to just look in the catalog and purchase them. They want to see what they can do. So at every opportunity, you should be using your power tools. And it's even better if you can coordinate those power tools with upcoming host specials that are coming up. So if you know that cookware is 60% off next month, you probably want to try and do some cookware in your demonstration. Or if you know the pressure cooker is 60% off the quick cooker, then you can use that in your demonstration. So these are all really good ideas to help get that booking going, as well as getting people to fall in love with the products. So the other thing to consider is the cost of ingredients for your host. Now, Pampered Chef is amazing in making sure that those ingredients are really, really cost effective if you're using their recipes. However, just check it out. If you know that your host is struggling with a budget, then make sure that you're giving her recipes that are going to help her feel comfortable with whatever she's providing for you at her party. And these should be beginner friendly and easy to execute. You might be like, I have a huge typo, to execute. That's a whole new thing. Sorry about that typo. But anyway, They need to be beginner friendly. Even if you are like the most amazing pastry chef in all of New York, this is important because if your guests don't feel like they could make what you just made, you're going to be lost on them. And especially if you're looking for people to join your team and you're up there making baked Alaska, right? You don't want that. You want them to feel like they could do exactly what you're doing. So you want to make sure that that's really easy. And also you want it to be a little bit foolproof so that if something should go wrong at your party, or you would forget a step or forget an ingredient, that you can recover really well from that. And luckily, the recipes that are being suggested to you in your starter kit are all really fabulous recipes for this. So I recommend just using the ones that Pampered Chef has given us. So you're going to want to plan out the recipe steps in your head as well. Okay, so just kind of go through, make sure you know kind of the flow of all of the recipes. And that's really going to help you when it comes time to transition into different steps, that you're not like have your head in the paper, right? You kind of know what's coming. You look really confident so that they feel really confident about trying it at home. And also prep ahead some of the steps. Like, people do not need to see you mixing up box cake mix. Like, chances are they know how to do that. So if you feel like you could do that ahead of time, if you can do some of the chopping ahead of time, if you can do some of that stuff, that's really going to help you look really professional and help your show go really smoothly. Make sure you save the demonstrations that they're going to want to see. Like, they're going to want to see some of the veggie spiralizer in action. You don't have to do all 4 zucchinis, but you could do part of a zucchini just so that they can see how it works. And group together steps. So whenever I'm prepping my recipes, I group together the products I'll be using for that certain section. Like for my bruschetta, when I'm making my bruschetta, I put my garlic press, my manual food processor, and my Santoku knife, or whatever knife I'm using, all together so that I can just pick up that station and bring it to me. Or if I keep my chicken broth and my pasta together, so those are things that you can kind of group together so that you're not digging around for those products. Okay, you definitely want to introduce the recipes that you're making. I have done this so many times incorrectly, where I'm like making a recipe and they have no idea what I'm doing. They're like, okay, so I see you measuring out peanut butter, but what are we making? So you really want to let them know what you're going to be making and why you're showing it to them, right? So why would they want to use this recipe at home? Is it fast? Is it easy? Is it microwave safe? Is it a one-pot meal? Is it picky kid friendly? Those kinds of things are going to be interesting to them. Also, let them know about the products that you're going to be using. It's okay if you're making a recipe that is really only suitable for the rock crock because of all the capabilities of the rock crock. That's okay. And you can just say to them, listen, I want to show you everything that this thing can do. And in order to do that, we're going to make this pasta in the microwave, start to finish. It's incredible. So don't be afraid to show that off at the very beginning, and just keep kind of helping them fall in love with it throughout your demonstration. Also, give a brief overview of how it's going to be created. So like if you're doing the zucchini bruschetta pasta, you might say, listen, we're going to start off the pasta in the rock crock. We're going to add the zucchini and finish it off like that. And while that's all cooking, I'm going to whip up some bruschetta in this manual food processor. And last but not least, we're going to top it off with some cheese. So they kind of already see where everything is going. So you don't have to keep explaining it. And so if you explain steps more than once, that's totally fine, because that's just going to help them understand the recipe even better. Okay, so the demonstration itself, dun, dun, dun. Now, this is going to be really fun, especially if you've done all the work ahead of time to make sure that this goes smoothly. You're going to feel great about this. So remember, this is about the products, not the food. Everyone knows they can buy zucchini at the grocery store, so don't go on and on and on about zucchini, right? But you do want to go on and on and on about the veggie strip maker and how many things you can do with that, right? So as you're using your veggie strip maker with the zucchini, instead of talking about all the things you can do with spiralized zucchini, maybe talk about all the things that you can do with the veggie strip maker, like rice cauliflower and make potato hash and grate up some onions for coleslaw or something like that, right? So you want to explain the products and not just the step that you're doing. Here's my golden rule. If a product costs more than $50, you need to give them 5 uses for it. Maybe 4 is fine too. I've used to say 4 or 5 is great too. Because here's the deal. No one is buying a $50 manual food processor to make bruschetta. They will buy a manual food processor to make bruschetta and salsa and hummus and egg salad and chopping up nuts for on their baked goods and to hide onions into food that need that kind of flavoring. So you need to just let them see the big picture of what that product's going to be able to do so that they see the value in the items that you're using. So power tools get I call them a commercial, and I will explain that here in a couple minutes here. But just understand that when you grab a power tool, you need to let them know that this is the next best thing in their kitchen. They cannot live without it any longer after knowing what they are missing. So these are a big deal and you need to talk about them, and they need more weight in your demonstration than the garlic press. Everyone loves the garlic press, but it's not hard to shuck out $16 for a garlic press. A power tool that, is a little bit up there in price, it's worth every penny, but we need to help them see that. And so you need to give that a little attention. And don't bother explaining products that are obvious in use. So like we're talking about like the measuring spoons, the stackable measuring spoons, like a whisk, they're going to understand the quality of products. So don't feel like you need to talk about every single thing that you pick up, just kind of the things that require a little bit more information than just seeing it in action. If there's something that you really love about something, absolutely share that, but don't, spend a lot of time on that. So one thing I want to bring up too is dead air. This happens a lot, especially to new consultants, where you're working on a step or there's like something in the microwave and you need to wait for that to be done cooking until you can move on with the recipe. So what do I do with this space? So anytime you're completing a task, and that's when it's a good time to explain the product, not before you complete it, right? So before the task, share what the product is and why you love it. And during the task, give reasons why they love it. And that's just an easy way to kind of categorize it in your head so that you don't use up all of your information before you're even done demonstrating the product. And if you get stuck with this, if you feel like, oh my gosh, what do I say? Which happens to all of us, just start asking questions, get them talking, and just say things like, what would you guys use this for? Does anyone already have this? Can you think of some other ways to use this? Especially if you're new, you can ask them for help with that, especially if it's a well-loved product. Like a lot of people in your audience are already going to have a salad chopper. They're already going to have a food chopper. So you can ask them, listen, this is kind of new to me. Do you guys have any tips or suggestions on how to use this? And you're going to get some great ideas from them. And spoiler alert, if someone is giving you some really great information on a product, they could be a potential consultant on your team. So let's sprinkle in fun and education in everything that we do. If your party is not fun, no one will want to come to another one, right? This needs to be as much fun as you can make it. Now, fun doesn't necessarily mean funny. You don't necessarily need to be a jokester. I kind of am, but that doesn't need to be your personality. So, but the best way to have fun is, or to help everyone else have fun, is have fun yourself. My goodness. Smile, laugh, you know what I mean? You need to look like you're having fun, having a good time, and enjoying their company. If you don't look like that, they're going to be like, girl, what is she doing? Why is she here? Right? So you need to make sure that your attitude is there to have a great time. Add appropriate humor whenever you can. I love adding jokes and things like that. And the best way to get some jokes is just to kind of watch what other consultants are doing. I very rarely make my own jokes. Almost every single time I heard something that another consultant said and I just thought it was hysterical and I just incorporated it into my own parties. But just look for opportunities to say jokes. Maybe you can come up with something really cool too. But yeah, so just add humor whenever possible. The more they're laughing, the more fun they're having, and the more they're going to want to recommend that experience to their friends. So the other thing here is definitely sprinkling in education. People are dying for information on how to make cooking easier. They are struggling. They are not inspired. They're sick of the same old things. So any tidbits of information that you can give them is going to be gold in your party. So anything that you say that starts with, did you know, is really great. one thing that I think is hysterical and everyone always thinks it's funny and it's kind of interesting to know, this is not useful in the cooking application, but did you know that the stickers on your produce are FDA approved to be consumed? Isn't that crazy? So next time you see one last in your pasta or last in your salsa, no worries, you didn't ruin it. But it's just kind of funny to give that information out. So tips like that, or tips with, what to do with their lemons, or tips with what to do with their avocado, or anything like that that you can do is going to be really helpful. Another form of education that they are going to love is any kind of cooking technique that you can share with them. This is absolute gold. Think about teaching them how to sear the perfect piece of chicken in a power tool. Think about how to roast vegetables on our large bar pan. Think about, oh my gosh, look at how you can cook frozen chicken in 10 minutes in our pressure cooker. These are things that they are going to love hearing about because it's going to help them when they go home. And also give variations and ideas for certain recipes. Maybe you're making chicken fajitas and you're using like a Southwest seasoning and peppers and onions, but show how this exact same process can be turned into an entirely different recipe. Instead of doing chicken, maybe they're doing steak, and maybe instead of peppers and onions, they're doing, zucchini, and then they can add, a sauce after it and serve it over rice. So you can really help them see that this is more of a technique that by just adding different ingredients, changing up the protein can make this feel like a whole new recipe. This is stuff that they really love. Okay. Power tools. This is my favorite thing in the demonstration because this is the thing that is going to change lives. These power tools make their job so much easier in the kitchen. So they love hearing about this. So power tools are any of those really big categories of products. So the Rock Crock is absolutely a power tool. The quick cooker is the best power tool. Forged knives is a power tool. Cookware is a power tool. And we recently just came out with our cooking blender. So that would be considered a power tool. These are the game changers in the kitchen. So you want to make sure you're demonstrating at least one at each of your parties. And that is why Pampered Chef has given you one in your kit so that you're using them at your party. So make sure that no matter what, this is being featured in your party, if not 2 items. You can literally use as many of these as you want because people want to see them in action. Seeing them on a catalog, I mean, Pampered Chef does amazing with their marketing. So yeah, they show a lot of quality in their pictures, but there's nothing like seeing it in action and actually getting to taste the results. So you definitely want to be using them. And also, they're not going to buy this because, if you make like the fajita chicken in the quick cooker, that's awesome. They're not going to make it. They're not going to buy a quick cooker for fajita chicken. It's kind of like what we were mentioning before, but they will buy it to be able to make a frozen roast in an hour and to make baby carrots in 3 minutes and to make one pot meals from scratch, from frozen in less than half an hour, or, things like that. So you really need to just help them see the big picture and also explain the quality. When you start using words like titanium and hard anodized aluminum, and you'll learn those once you do the product training, that makes you sound like you really understand the products well. And so your recommendation is more trustworthy because you've done the research. So those are the things that are going to help them. And also bring pieces and explain them, even if they're not in the demonstration. So say you're using the quick cooker and you're using like a knife. So you're going to be talking about those in your demonstrations, but later talk about the cookware. Bring your skillet, bring your Rock Crock and pass it around. Ask them who has it and explain why we love it. Get some recipes, send them an ebook, create like a little ebooklet. Hopefully I'll have that for you here soon. And then you can talk about them. And that's a great way to use the space. Like if you have stuff in the microwave, say you're making a lava cake and it's spending 10 minutes in the microwave, that would be a great time to break out your cookware and give a little chat about that. Also, here's the thing. Give them permission to buy. It doesn't matter how much they want the product. They are going to feel a little resistance into actually pulling the trigger on it. But here's the thing. We know that these are valuable products. We just have to help them understand that this is a worthwhile investment. And one of the things I love to do is comparing this to a lawnmower, right? So we all know we have lawnmowers sitting in our garage. We use them once a week, 6 months out of the year, and they're expensive. But we don't even bat an eyelash whenever we go to buy one because we're like, well, we need it to cut our grass, right? And then it gets stowed away in the winter. Some of us even buy a snowblower and have like the same kind of process with that. But then we pull it out in the spring, the lawnmower, and what do? We cross our fingers and pray to the Lord Almighty that that thing turns on. And if it doesn't, we go and buy parts and we spend all this time on it, right? So, and all this money on it. But when it comes to something that we're using every single day that carries a lifetime warranty, or cookware and our knives have a lifetime warranty, for some reason, we just feel all guilty. And I don't want you to feel like that. I want you to feel like this is just as worthwhile of an investment as that lawnmower or as that great drill that you have at home or as your dishwasher. These are going to be the things that change the way you put dinner on the table. So they're an important purchase. So just giving them a chat like that is going to help them not feel guilty about something that we know is going to make such an impact in their kitchen. Okay, so that is it about the recipe demonstrations. Let me know when you finish this. Let me know if it was helpful and if there was anything else that you would like to see on it. And what am I doing? Here we go. Boy, I really don't know how to do any of this. It's okay. Oh, stop share. So thanks for joining us for this. Let me know if that was helpful. If you have any other questions, definitely let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.